Hey everyone, thanks for coming back. History of Eric Clapton through his OG albums. And in this video, we're also going to show some box sets and some CDs, which I don't have on vinyl. Some I do have on vinyl and some I don't have on vinyl, but I have the CD. So I have a pretty good collection of Clapton's entire output. I'm also going to throw in some movies that he participated in. Some I have, some I don't have, but we'll talk about that. And also his guest appearances on some albums that I'm going to talk about and show what I have and what I don't have. But this is where it started, the history of Eric Clapton, 1969. If that's all he did, he'd be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, I think he's the only artist in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times, with the Yardbirds, solo, and with Cream. So, Hall of Famer Eric Patrick Clapton. So we're going to start with Derek and the Dominos. He took off and did Derek and the Dominos with an all-star cast. I believe this is a French copy. There's a gatefold on RSO. As you can see on top, discs are in French and English. And this is fantastic. Probably one of the most played tracks in the history of the world is Layla. And then you have the entire Records of Greatest Hits, Bell Bottom Blues. He does Hendrix, Little Wing. Just tremendous. There was a good article I read, actually, it may have been in that history of Eric Clapton, where some DJ was introducing him and the Dominos, and the DJ said, "And now, please let me introduce Eric Clapton." And Eric Clapton walks up to the mic and said something to the effect, "I have a message from Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton can't be here, but he sent his band, Derek and the Dominos," and they went into their song. So it was interesting that he organized his band with different personalities, similar to what Paul did with Sgt. Pepper. The same sense that we're not going to be ourselves. We're not going to be Eric Clapton and the super band. We're going to be Derek and the Dominos. Originally, the album was supposed to be called, or the band was supposed to be called Eric and Friends, but it morphed into Derek and the Dominos. This is something you don't see too often. Derek and the Dominos in concert, live. This is without Dwayne Allman. Dwayne didn't go on tour with them. He was with the Allman Brothers. But this is still a nice document to have. And I have this on CD as well. I first got it on CD. And then later on, I was able to find a copy on album, which is what I really wanted. And here's the inner. And this is a great one. Rainbow Concert, organized by Pete Townsend. Clapton wasn't doing too well with his heroin addiction and was kind of a recluse. Not sure if he was playing, probably not playing. And Clapton, with the help of his good friend Pete Townsend, was able to at least get out and play, and later on at least stabilize his heroin addiction. He went back to drinking. But this was produced by Pete Townsend, who the album concert was. This has Rick Creech, Steve Winwood, Capaldi, and Rebop on percussion. Pearly Queen, After Midnight, Little Wayne, Badge, Roll It Over, Presence of the Lord. This is fantastic. And I also have the extended version on CD. This only came out on album in this form. There may be bootlegs that have the whole concert. And then we have his comeback album. This is a promo. 461 Ocean Boulevard, same place where the Bee Gees recorded their stuff from Saturday Night Fever and their Jive Talk album, Main Course. And that's a picture of the studio and the whole thing. Here's just a red copy, not a promo. And we have another great solo album. There's One in Every Crowd. A lot of blues on this. I love this. On here is a great version of The Sky is Crying. You can see right there. And this was a cutout. A lot of Clapton's albums didn't sell. He peaked so high that a lot of these were disappointment to the hardcore Cream fans. You know, Clapton was continually changing. After Delaney and Bonnie, he got like an Americana, an American sound, and then he hooked up with J.J. Cale, which wrote who wrote Cocaine. So these albums didn't sell like they should have, but they didn't sell at the volume that the Cream and Derek and the Dominos sold. So a lot of those were cut out. Here's a great one. Dylan's on this. No Reason to Cry. This is a great album. Hello, Old Friend. Sign Language. And this is still an original shrink. This is embossed. Actually, you could feel that pick. And then we have the classic Slow Hand, which probably, I believe I read, sold 4 or 5 million copies. Probably more now. Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, Next Time You See Her, The Core, Mino Frisco, Peaches and Diesel. And The Core reminded me of an album I didn't pull, but one of my favorite Pete Townsend albums. Pete Townsend and Ronnie Lane, Rough Mix, which was just reissued half-speed master. But the original, if you don't buy that, the originals, MCA, I think, they're just tremendous. And Clapton is on that record with Pete Townsend, and it's just fantastic. I didn't pull it. I just thought of it when I saw The Core. Here's another one, Backless. And Clapton is always on the cover solo by himself. Never has the band with him. Pretty rare to have someone else on the cover with Eric Clapton. This is also an original, has a leather grain feel to it. Opens up to this. Let me see. This has Mick Levy, George Terry. I don't know if George Terry's George Harrison. Might be. And a few guys from Dominos. But good album. And we have Another Ticket, which is a tremendous live record. I believe I have it as a double record too. I'm not sure. But Another Ticket. Black Rose. I Can't Stand It. Rita May. Just a great. You know, Clapton goes off on another tangent when he plays live. This is produced by his longtime producer, Tom Dowd. And here's another one. Eric Was Here. EC Was Here. Have You Ever Loved a Woman? Presence of the Lord. Drifting Blues. Can't Find My Way Home. This is live. Further On Up the Road. This is fantastic. Also, Tom Dowd. It's a single. Here's the original Inner and RSO. And I believe this was with Phil Collins, I think, August. It's the Way That You Use It, which was a big mega hit. And you can see Clapton's starting to change. He's older here. And Present, that's the way that you use it, was a big hit. Take a Chance, Behind the Mask, Holy Mother. And this is on the Duck Records, which is his label, on Warner Reprise. And we have Journeyman. I think these are in pretty much order. You can see like you got that 80s look now to some of these covers. This is also on Duck. I'll show you the Duck label. Has an inner. He does Elvis's Hound Dog on here. This is a good lineup. Robert Cray, Richard T., who's a jazz pianist, Nathan East, who I think is still with him as bass, Jim Kelter, and Robert Cray's cool. Robert Cray's on here. And here's the Duck record label. But this is a good album, and you don't see this too often. Whenever it's up, it usually record stores have it for $10, $15, and it sells. He looks a little tired here. And then I have the box set, the one step rather, of Unplugged, which is 45 RPM. This is number 1359 out of 10,000. It's a low number. This is great. If you don't have it, it's still available. I know they're selling, they might be even selling them around what I paid, what the original retail price was. But really good to have from MTV. This was after his son was tragically died, and he wrote the song "Tears in Heaven," which was one of his biggest hits, or selling, unfortunately, for all the wrong reasons. Here's Just One Night. That's what I was thinking of. Here's a double, another live Clapton. Tulsa Times on here. Double Trouble, Cocaine, Further Up the Road, all live. Great, a really good album. On RSO, you can see Clapton again on the cover solo. But then we have this album when he's not on the cover solo, because it's actually also a B.B. King album, Riding with the King. Was just able to pick this up. This is an expanded version. I only had it on CD. The original release of this on album was just skyrocketed, but I was able to pick up a copy at Barnes and Noble's on a heavy vinyl, a reissue. And I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure I'm going to like it. And it's got 2 extra songs, Rolling and Tumbling and Let Me Love You Baby, not on the CD. It's a gatefold, but here's the hype sticker. And this is a 45 RPM as well. Glenn Johns produced and engineered. This is amazing. You can see great shot of Clapton. This is with Nathan East on bass. Has an all-star band, basically. But solo on the cover. But he gives everyone their due on the inside, which is a typical Clapton inside. Most of his records have an insert or a gatefold with a lot of Polaroids and photos. And this is covers by Peter Blake. And this is 45 RPM. This is a good deal. I remember this was reasonably priced for a 45 RPM double record. And here's some EPs. This one's not open, but he does Clapton Every Little Thing, Marley mixes. No Sympathy album version, and Stefan's mix by Damian Marley, and One Drop mix by Damian and Stefan Marley. This is from the album Old Sock. And that's still in the shrink, it's still sealed. And I just wanted to show some solo records that I pulled of other artists that Clapton collaborated with. He was on this record with Stephen Stills. This may be Stephen's first record. And actually, this is a good one because I did not know that until now. Hendrix is also on Old Times, Good Times, lead guitar. Hendrix and Stills were pretty good friends. Clapton's on Go Back Home. This is just really amazing. Booker T. Jones, Rita Coolidge, Cass Elliot, David Crosby, Stephen Stills on Atlantic. So Clapton's on here. Clapton's on The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, the entire record. Roger Waters, great solo record. Of course, you know he's on The Last Waltz, the band. He has a whole side, basically, just tremendous. And the video is one of the best rock videos, directed by Scorsese, produced by Robbie Robinson. And here I just have the CD box set, The Sessions, Derek and the Dominos. This is unbelievable. 3 full discs. There's your 4 full discs. It may be 4 discs. 20th anniversary edition. And it's all jams and just redone. It's just fantastic. It has a book. And I have another EP, 12-inch, Wonderful Tonight. Layla, long version. You don't see this too often. This one you don't see too often either. Edge of Darkness, 12-inch. This is from a movie. This has 6 tracks on it. From the BBC TV serial Edge of Darkness, directed by Martin Campbell, who directed, I believe, GoldenEye, a Bond film. But a real cool picture of Eric. As you can see, he's on the cover, again, solo. The only cover of note, besides Delaney and Bonnie or whatever, was only on with B.B. King, because it was basically a B.B. King album, and the respect that Clapton has for B.B. King, is off the charts, obviously. And it was just, his favorite, of course, was Robert Johnson, which I have. I have the CD where he did all the Robert Johnson tunes on one disc. But a great influence was, which I just read, was Buddy Holly. He saw Buddy Holly play in the UK, and that he said that changed his life when he saw Buddy Holly up there. He goes, "That's what I want to do. That's the future. At least for me, that's it. That's what I want to do." Which I was, because Buddy Holly really wasn't blues, but he could use that guitar and had that presence. And here we have an EP from Forever Man, Too Bad. This is with Phil Collins. From Behind the Sun. Nice cover. And I'm going to go show you, just not going to pull it out, but Clapton's on here, as you know, live. And he was really good friends with Harrison. I'm not going to pull the White Album, but While My Guitar Gently Weeps the solo was Clapton. Harrison brought him in. Everybody behaved. Clapton did his thing. It was uncredited. And here's the Clapton box set on CD. Really good. I don't have the album, but this is also on record. It has a booklet inside and some great stuff. Really nice cover. CD box set. And of course, he was with John Lennon live in Toronto, where John called up a few friends. I believe at the time he was probably using heroin, and I know Clapton was using heroin. They took a flight to Toronto, did their thing. Chuck Berry was on the set. Little Richard was on the marquee with them on the group, and this is on Apple. Here's the back, and Lennon says we're only going to do songs that we know. They didn't rehearse. Yoko's here. Don't worry, Yoko. Don't worry, Kyoko. Let's hope for peace. And Blue Suede Shoes, Money, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, Your Blues, Cold Turkey, Give Peace a Chance on Apple. I'm really happy to have a good copy of this. These were originally very hard to find when I bought this, but now the advent of the internet and eBay and stuff, they're reasonable. Of course, Derek and the Dominos were on this. This is one of the reissues, the colorized version. This is a French import. Apple Scruffs, Original Jam, I Remember Jeep, Beware of Darkness. This is just, super. And this is original, All Things Must Pass. Basically, Clapton with him, Derek and the Dominos. Not sure how many tracks Clapton's on, but he's on this record. And then I'm going to show some CDs, and then we're almost done. Hoping you're liking this. I'm thanking everyone again for stopping in, for subscribing, for dealing with me. None of these I don't have any script. I'm just basically going through it. As you can see, it's pretty basic. I'm just showing my collection. And Clapton has over 60 records. So this is a portion of what Clapton's output is and will continue to be. Here's a CD that I don't have on album. Clapton, I Get Lost. Here's the back. He did them from the movie Rush, which is very good. Clapton did Rush. And this is mostly, I think it's mostly Clapton on here. Has a booklet. There's the CD. Very good a very good movie if you haven't seen it. And here I have Eric Clapton, Change the World from Phenomenon with John Travolta. And Change the World. And then there's a non-album track, Danny Boy. Which is pretty cool, right? And there's a lot of CDs. Here I don't have on record 24 Nights he played at the Royal Albert Hall. And you can see there some of the tracks. I believe this is on vinyl as well. But I don't know how many records it would be. Here's the inner. It's a double CD. And I have Cream BBC, live BBC stuff, which is unbelievable. And it's a cool shot. There you see the two sharing a mic, which you don't see too often. Amazing with this little drum kit what Ginger Baker was able to achieve. This is also on vinyl. There's a nice shot inside. Anything with the BBC is great. Who, BBC, Beatles, obviously, BBC, Kinks. I think there's Pink Floyd. We're lucky to have these, and they really sound good. Here's the CDs from Crossroads, the Clapton box set. Pull these out. Here is From the Cradle, the album. Don't believe I have this on record, but there's the album. And we have the Unplugged CD, which is the only version I had. I don't have the record, but I bought the one step. And here's a ticket. When I saw Eric Clapton on September 14th, 1995 for $32.50. Here's the ticket. Here's the album inside. I also have the DVD of the performance. This is nice. This is a Curtis Mayfield tribute. Curtis Mayfield passed away tragically. I believe he fell, and he wasn't in great condition. But Clapton does a song on here. Let's see if I can read it. Can't really see it. Let me get my glasses here. Clapton does You Must Believe Me. Also on here is the Ozzy Brothers, Aretha, B.B. King, Rod Stewart, People Get Ready, Phil Collins, Stevie Wonder, Elton John. Just if you ever see this, I always pick up the tribute records because the performances are one-offs. Here he's with the Dirty Mac, with Your Blues, which was the Rolling Stones video, little movie video thing they did. Didn't go over well at the time, but you have a great lineup. Tull, Taj Mahal, The Who, Marianne Faithfull, Yoko and John with the Dirty Mac, Rolling Stones, obviously. Don't know if this is on vinyl. It must be on vinyl, but here's the CD. And we have another copy of The Cream, which I have on record now. That's on CD. Bought this first. And we have an extended version of the Rainbow Concert. This even has Crossroads on it. Let It Rain, 7 minutes. Key to the Highway, Bottle of Wine. This was recorded live at the Rainbow Theatre in London, January 13th, 1973. That's a long time ago. And Glenn Johns recorded it. Has a nice booklet. And we have Eric Clapton Blues, which I saw this tour. Double CD. And it was funny when I saw this tour in Philadelphia, Clapton would just, because he played these various blues tunes and everyone was in a different key, needed a different type of sound, different guitar. He would just go like this, and the crew would hand him that particular axe to play that particular blues song. And there's the back, and there's the record. It's a double CD rather. Here's just one ticket, which we have on album. Slow Hand, which we have on album. These are great. These are the Martin Scorsese, the Blues series, which was on PBS. Tom Jones was on this. Van Morrison, Jeff Beck. Tom Jones does a few tunes with Jeff Beck that I only wish that they recorded a whole album together. because I think Tom Jones is top 5 male vocalist. He should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he isn't, just like Paul Rodgers should be, but isn't. But on this record, this actually has the Tom Jones and Jeff Beck, but it has some Mayo stuff with Clapton. John Mayo with the Blues Breakers, whatever. Clapton also has Cream on here. So Clapton. And this is a nice compilation. Jimmy Rogers All-Stars. Jimmy Rogers. And this has Jeff Healey, Clapton, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Taj Mahal, Lyle Folsom, Stephen Stills, Clapton again, Jagger again, Stephen Stills again, and also one track featuring, which is Boom Boom, featuring Page, Plant, and Clapton. Jimmy Rogers All-Stars. Don't know the genesis of this, but this is going back in the car to listen to. I love this. Here's a Journeyman, which we have on record. Derek and the Dominos, which we have on record. Howlin' Wolf Sessions on Chess, MCA Chess, which we have on album. This one I don't believe I have on album, Pilgrim. So that's Clapton again. And this is a BMG. And here's the disc booklet. This has my father's eyes on it. Clapton didn't know who his real father was. I believe he was a merchant seaman or whatever, but his father had kids with another woman. And I remember that Clapton's father did not know of his son because he died before this world met. As far as I know, Clapton's father did not know he had a son who was Eric Clapton. That's the song My Father's Eyes. Here's a great one, which I have to get on vinyl. Me and Mr. Johnson. And here he does When You Got a Good Friend, Little Queen of Spades, They're Red Hot, Me and the Devil Blues, all classics. Traveling Riverside Blues, Last Fair Deal Gone Down, Stop Breaking Down Blues, Milk Cow Calf Blues, Kind Hearted Woman Blues. You get all blues. Come Out of My Kitchen, If I Had Possession Over Judgment Day, Love and Pain, 3220 Blues, and Hellhound on My Trail. And Clapton said there was no one like Robert Johnson. He did it. He invented it. His voice cried it. He lived it. Unfortunately, I believe he was 27 when he died. Here, Clapton contributed to the soundtrack of Lethal Weapon 3. He may be in all the Lethal Weapons. I'm not sure. He also did Color of Money, which was Scorsese, Tom Cruise. Was a sequel to The Hustle. Here's a Blind Faith CD. Here's a bootleg of Disraeli Your Gears. Here's the first Clapton solo with the Delaney and Bonnie bands, and what was to become Derek and the Dominos. Here we have August again. There's the CD. The Beano cover, Mail. And what I had until I just got the vinyl, I only had the CD. Riding with the King, B.B. King and Eric Clapton. And a great shot here of a Cadillac with the 2 axes. And this has 2 less tracks on it than the double record. So there you have it. Up top, you see the book, Eric Clapton's autobiography, which I read years ago. Once in a while, I go through it. It's just fascinating. Like I said, he was not happy or content rather, with one stop. He had to continue to grow and continue to do things and just, get better and better and better with whatever style he chose. It's just amazing. But when you listen to just that one album, The History of Eric Clapton, which I did in the car, like I said, when I was taking my son to the airport, it was about an hour ride. And it just inspired me to do this video. So there he is, Layla. So thanks a lot. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're building the channel slowly, but it's getting there. And please tell me what you think about this little video. It's actually part 2. And part 2 and part 2 of 2. And it ran about 36 minutes, so we did over an hour of Clapton. And I didn't even pull out the records. So like I said, these are unscripted. I'm just sharing my video, my love for video. I'm just sharing on these videos my love for vinyl, rather. And I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks a lot. Keep rocking, and we'll see you in a few days. I'm sure I'll think of something else to talk about. Thank you. Bye-bye.